My name is Aubrey Nolan, and I'm 34 years old. If you had stepped into my life on a typical Saturday morning a few weeks ago, you might have thought I had it all under control. Bills were mostly automatic. My calendar was color-coded. I owned more highlighters than makeup. My idea of breaking the rules was drinking coffee after 4 p.m. I believed that living by the rules meant life wouldn't blindside me. Then my boyfriend texted, "I don't love you anymore. Consider this goodbye." Exactly 2 minutes before my graduation ceremony. This wasn't my first graduation. 5 years earlier, at 29, I returned to school for my MBA. That's where I met Logan. I was the one with color-coded notes and backup flash drives. He could walk into a room and instantly make friends. He was pursuing a master's in communications and joked that I spoke spreadsheets while he spoke people. Somehow, it worked. We started dating in the first semester. After graduation, we moved in together. We built what I thought was a solid adult life. Joint Costco membership, shared friends, a Netflix profile so long we were indistinguishable to the algorithm. The last year changed everything. I chose to pivot my career and pursue a specialized certification in data analytics. The program was intense, 12-hour days split between classes, projects, and late-night coding sessions. Weekends were consumed by study groups, Sundays by capstone revisions. Logan claimed he supported me and told everyone he was proud. At home, however, his support felt strained. "You're always busy. Everything revolves around your laptop," he'd say. I reminded myself it was temporary. This immersive program was meant to be intense, 18 months of effort for decades of opportunity. I tried to balance it all, but balance is mostly an illusion. Something always suffers. Most days, it was me. The capstone project was the hardest. 3 months building a data pipeline that seemed to resist my efforts. I was exhausted, jittery from coffee, clinging to graduation as a lifeline. Graduation was Saturday, May 18th at 2 p.m. I had circled the date so many times my calendar paper was thin. This was my second degree, a career pivot, proof that the late nights and missed social events had meaning. I invited Logan weeks in advance. He promised he'd be there. My parents were flying in, my brother driving up. It was a milestone. For me, for us. On Friday night, the apartment felt heavy. I sat at the kitchen table, rehearsing my speech while Logan scrolled through his phone on the couch. "Have you picked what you're wearing tomorrow?" I asked. "Not yet," he said without looking up. "It's tomorrow," I reminded him, trying to stay light. No response. Later, he went to bed without so much as a kiss. I told myself he was stressed, tired. Relationships weren't graded on one evening before graduation. Saturday morning, I woke at 7. Graduation required arrival by noon. I showered, dressed in the navy suit I had bought for this day, and made coffee. Logan emerged around 9:30 in a t-shirt from the night before. "You're up early," he said. I reminded him, "Right, your thing, my graduation." His tone irritated me, but I focused on the day. Breakfast was quiet. I tried conversation. He gave one-word answers. A relationship on airplane mode. At 11:15, he was still in pajamas, hair unbrushed. "We need to leave in 15 minutes, I said. "I know," he replied, shrugging. Then, for the first time that morning, he looked at me directly. "Are you coming?" I asked. "I don't know," he said. "It's my graduation," I said. "Of course I need you there. This is important to me." He scoffed. "Everything is important to you lately. What about what's important to me?" The sentence he had been building toward months. "Not now," I said. "I need to leave." Heart pounding, I grabbed my keys, phone, and speech notes. "Please just be there," I whispered. "We'll see," he replied. The drive to campus felt like a tunnel. I glanced at my phone, hoping for a message. Nothing. I arrived at 11:45, checked in, collected my gown, and joined the lineup. Excitement buzzed around me. At 1:58 p.m., 2 minutes before the ceremony, my phone buzzed. "Logan, I don't love you anymore. Consider this goodbye." Time slowed, another message followed. "I should have told you sooner. I can't keep pretending." Someone asked if I was okay. I nodded. 90 seconds to decide. Call, beg, argue, or do something I had never done. I chose myself. I typed one word, understood. Questions, no bargaining. I silenced my phone and put it in my pocket. When the line moved forward, I walked. The ceremony is a blur. I heard my name, crossed the stage, shook hands, accepted my diploma, delivered my speech. People clapped, some cried. Inside, I felt hollow calm, an outline of myself. Afterward, my parents found me. My mom's face was blotchy from crying, my dad hugged me hard, my brother joked about tuition addiction. "You were incredible," my mom said. "Where's Logan? I want a picture of all of you together." "He couldn't make it," I said. "Oh no. Is everything okay?" she asked, worry just under her words. "Yeah, everything's fine." "Something came up," I lied. It wasn't convincing, but it was the only option that didn't make me break down. She studied my face, noticing the faint crack in my composure. "You seem off," she said softly. "I'm just tired," I replied. Long day. Dinner was at an Italian restaurant downtown. I don't remember my order, just nodding, laughing at the right moments, watching my family celebrate me. My dad discussed job prospects. My mom recalled my first day of kindergarten like it was yesterday. My brother teased me for color-coding cereal boxes as a kid. Their pride made everything feel surreal, like I was living two timelines at once, one as a successful, accomplished woman with 2 degrees, and another as someone discarded by a text. By 8 p.m., the sky had turned bruised purple. Logan's car was gone. Inside, some of his belongings were missing. Laptop, favorite jacket, phone charger, a few shoes, the essentials of someone who didn't plan to return. He hadn't just ended things, he'd planned his exit. I stood in the doorway, keys in hand, trying to feel something, but felt nothing. I set my bag down, removed my heels, hung my jacket, then started blocking him. Phone, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, every platform. Next, I opened our shared photo folder. 247 images, trips, birthdays, random nights, selfies from the library, grocery aisles, sunsets. One by one, I deleted them. Moving through the apartment, I packed his things. Clothes, toiletries, that ugly pillow he loved. Boxes labeled, stacked, organized. Then I lay on the bed we'd shared, staring at the ceiling. No tears, no rage, just absence. I thought about the timestamp on his text. May 18th, 1:58 p.m., 2 minutes before my name was called. 5 years ended in a message timed for maximum impact. Instead of breaking me, it marked the first boundary I didn't negotiate. Deep down, even through numbness, I agreed. Sunday morning, for a brief moment, I forgot. I reached for his weight, felt cold sheets, and remembered. No grief, no relief, just emptiness. So I followed routine: coffee, workout, meal prep, cleaning, reorganizing, structure, control, constants that remained unlike him. Around 2 p.m., my phone rang, unknown number. I almost ignored it. "Hello, Aubrey, it's me." His voice hit a nerve. "How did you get this number?" "Borrowed a friend's phone." "You're blocked." "Yes," I said calmly, "we need to talk." "No," I replied. "You said what you needed to say. We're done." "You can't just block me and act like I don't exist," he snapped. "I can. You ended it. I'm respecting that. We're done. No contact. My stuff is packed. Let me know when to pick it up." "This is ridiculous. You're being childish." "I'm being clear. You don't love me. You said goodbye, goodbye." Over the next 24 hours, he called from 2 more numbers. Block, block. Each attempt became easier. Monday, I started my new position, the one he couldn't be bothered to watch me earn. My team celebrated. Decorated desk, cake, claps, congratulations. The celebration I deserved with people who showed up. That evening, an old messaging app pinged. "Logan, please, we need to talk. I made a mistake. Can we meet?" I remembered his text's timestamp, and that morning in the kitchen, I replied, "No, pick up your stuff this week or I'm donating it." He responded, "You're being cruel." I wrote back, "I'm being done. There's a difference." Then I blocked him. Wednesday, he escalated. My neighbor messaged, "There's a man waiting outside, says he's your boyfriend, looks upset." I replied calmly, "He's my ex. He'll leave eventually." He did, 3 hours later, lingering on the steps. Part of me felt a small pang, the rest felt nothing. Thursday, same scenario. I adapted, working late, gym, bookstore browsing, coffee shop writing, returning to an empty building. One night, I watched him from a friend's apartment. He pulled something from his pocket, stared at it. "You okay?" my friend asked. "I'm fine," I said. I meant it. Friday, I ran into him for the first time. My last meeting ran late. By the time I left the office, the sun was low, and my brain was fried from too many spreadsheets and too little fresh air. I drove home, parked, slung my gym bag over my shoulder, and headed to the building. He was sitting on the steps, hunched over. He stood as soon as he saw me, tense, like coiled spring ready to snap. "I've been trying to talk to you for days," he said. "I have nothing to say to you," I replied. "Please, just 5 minutes." "You had 5 years," I thought. "You threw it away via text. I don't owe you more time." I was overwhelmed, he said, stumbling over words. You were busy, I felt neglected, and I didn't handle it well. That's your explanation? I asked. You felt neglected, so you destroyed my life 2 minutes before I walked on stage? I wasn't thinking. I was hurt. I thought you'd fight for us. There it was. You didn't want to break up. You wanted a performance, I said softly. You wanted me to show you I cared, he shot back. I took a steady breath, sigh. I spent 18 months showing I cared. I cared enough to exhaust myself for our future. You felt neglected, and instead of talking like an adult, you ended things cruelly. Now, after I've accepted your word and moved on, you want to rewind. Please, I made a mistake. I don't want to lose you. I love you, he pleaded. I believed him, at least the part of him standing there, scared and regretful. But I also knew that letting him back in meant the pattern would repeat. You didn't fully mean it when you typed it, I said, but you meant it enough to time it for maximum damage. That tells me all I need to know. Real tears slid down his cheeks. I signed a lease for a new apartment, I said. I move out in 2 weeks. Your things will stay until then. After that, it's not my concern. Moving? He repeated like it was offensive. Yes, where? None of your business. We live together. You can't just move, he argued. The lease is in my name. You're not on it, so you don't get a say. Where will I live? He demanded. Not my problem. You ended this. Figure it out. You're throwing away 5 years, he said. No. You did that on May 18th at 1:58 p.m. I'm just accepting reality. I walked past him into the building, shutting the door before he could follow. His hand hit the glass. I climbed the stairs, unlocked my apartment, and exhaled for the first time in days. Sleep was minimal, not from sadness, but because my mind wouldn't stop replaying him on those steps. By morning, I felt decided, not healed, just determined. Saturday, I packed boxes methodically, sorting into keep, donate, trash, storage, reclaiming the apartment and myself. He emailed that morning. Apologies, explanations, a long essay on stress, insecurity, and wanting me to fight for him. I read 2 sentences, then replied, I listened when you said you don't love me. I am honoring your choice. Stop contacting me. I blocked him and set up filters so nothing from him reached me. That afternoon, a gift bag appeared at my door. Letters, photos, tickets, a scrapbook labeled Aubrey Logan, Our Story. Previously, that might have broken me. Now, I felt nothing. No anger, no longing, just clarity. I dropped the bag in the trash chute. I emailed the landlord explaining the situation. Within the hour, he called, sympathetic and accommodating. My move-out date shortened from 2 weeks to 5 days, with movers scheduled and a short-term rental booked. Sunday, a storm raged outside as I packed the remaining boxes in silence, sealing each chapter. Someone knocked repeatedly. Aubrey, it's me. We need to talk, he called. I ignored it. Eventually, it stopped. A drenched bag later appeared outside, also discarded without opening. By Tuesday, he escalated with reinforcements. His mother appeared, concerned. Can we talk? Is she okay? Her voice held tired compassion I once mistook for kindness. Logan knocked, pleading, just 5 minutes. I remained silent, jaw clenched. 15 minutes later, his mother sighed. He's not home. Their footsteps receded down the hall. When the elevator dinged, I allowed myself to breathe again. By Wednesday, only 1 day remained in the apartment. The movers were scheduled for 8 a.m. the next morning. My belongings were neatly stacked and labeled. My new apartment keys rested on the counter. I felt like a ghost moving through the remnants of a life I no longer claimed. That night, someone knocked at the door. I ignored it. Thursday morning brought a final attempt from him. A cardboard box with a ribbon taped sloppily on top. No note, no explanation, just silence. I didn't open it or bring it inside, carried it straight to the trash chute and let gravity decide. Friday arrived quietly. Movers came early, worked efficiently, and by 11 a.m., the apartment was empty. Their footsteps echoed across the bare floor. The space felt smaller, stripped of years, routines, and illusions I had mistaken for security. I left the keys with the landlord, walked out without looking back, and drove across town to my new apartment. Before deactivating my old phone, I sent him one last message from an unrecognized number. Your belongings are in storage unit 247 at Oak Street Storage, code 4832, paid through the end of the month. After that, it's your responsibility. Then I blocked that number too, tossed the SIM card in a drawer, and stepped into the quiet of my new space. For the first time in weeks, perhaps months, I felt peace. The first night in my apartment was strange. Not lonely, not sad, just quiet. No shoes by the door that weren't mine. No half-drunk protein shake on the counter. No background hum of someone else's routine tugging against mine. The silence felt like a warm bath. Unsettling at first, then soothing, finally necessary. I unpacked slowly, one box at a time. Everything was mine, placed by my own choice. I didn't check my phone once. Logan's calls and messages were no longer my concern. That night, I slept deeply, uninterrupted, reclaiming a rest I hadn't had since I carried the weight of someone else's emotional weather. The next morning, sunlight poured through tall windows. I made coffee, barefoot, and watched the street below. No one knew I lived here except my family and two close friends. It felt like emotional witness protection. At work, I followed my own schedule, playing soft indie songs he always hated, enjoying the freedom to move without accommodating another person's habits. My boss stopped by. Leadership loved your work on the predictive models. They're considering you for a project lead position next quarter. A promotion, just like that. Logan had never said anything like that in 5 years. His pride had always come with conditions. I'm proud of you, but here, I was valued unconditionally, a revelation both beautiful and sobering. Over the next 2 weeks, my life settled into a new, stable rhythm. Friends invited me to dinner. The topic of Logan came up only when I mentioned him. They didn't suggest reconciliation. Instead, they recognized my choice to prioritize myself. That was cruel. You didn't deserve that. I'm proud of you. By the third week, Logan escalated again, reaching out through mutual friends with messages pleading for 5 minutes or closure. Each received the same clear response. He ended a 5-year relationship via text 2 minutes before my graduation. I have nothing more to say. Do not pass along messages. One friend called me heartless, but my reply was simple. He didn't make a mistake. He made a decision. After that, the messages stopped. 3 weeks after moving out, he tried again at my office. Security called. A man claiming to be my boyfriend refused to leave. I stayed calm, instructed them to call the police, and he departed before anyone arrived. My boss later checked in. Do you feel safe? Yes, I said, and meant it. Safety wasn't about location or blocked numbers. It was the decision I made in that moment to choose myself. Messages from mutual friends ceased entirely. Logan gave up, not gracefully, not with understanding, but exhausted. He told people I'd changed, that I had gone cold. The truth was, I hadn't changed. I stopped bending. I stopped apologizing. I stopped sacrificing my love for someone who used it to measure his ego. 6 weeks after graduation, standing in my small sunlit apartment, I realized I was happy. Not ecstatic, not in love, not fully healed, just peaceful. I had 2 degrees, a growing career, a promotion on the horizon, friends who showed up, family who celebrated me, and a space entirely my own. And a heart, bruised but undeniably mine. When asked recently if I missed him, I answered honestly, no. I miss who I thought he was, but not the person who sent that text. I don't miss him at all. Logan told me to consider this goodbye. He expected me to crumble, to fight for him, to orbit his gravity. Instead, I considered it and agreed. It was the best decision I ever made.